Operation High Caliber released today, and with the new season comes a new rework map. This rework map is Outback, and the devs did a decent job of making some significant changes. Of course, with it only being in the TS, we don't really have a competitive standpoint of how viable it will be in ranked and unranked, but I think it's at least worth giving it a try. And so, like we did with Favela, my stack and I hopped in the map, looked at some customs, looked at the layout of the map, and developed some strategies that we think will be effective based on our observations. So let's go ahead and start looking at those. There will be several released over the next days and weeks, so make sure you check those out. So for now, we're starting by looking at a defense for laundry and piano. So before we get into the lineup, let's look at how the site's set up. The first thing to notice is that the site has moved from being laundry games to being laundry piano. And this piano site has basically direct outside access. I mean, there's this big double door that heads right into piano. So right away that tells us that this is one of the weaker sites, and you don't really want to be playing in piano unless you're holding aggressively with a deployable shield. So knowing this, we've decided to extend into laundry as our core. We're going to be holding a little bit in games, bathroom a lot, and bunks as well. And so we're reinforcing and rotating to support these areas. So we're going to use 2 reinforcements on the bunks wall, and this allows you to play in here comfortably. Make sure you can contest the bunks window. We're also going to use 2 reinforcements in laundry. One is going to go on the wall facing piano, and you're going to use this kind of like a mirror window, but I'm going to assume the mirror is banned, and this allows you to sort of aggressively contest the piano walk-in. The other reinforcement is going to go on the wall to the laundry hallway, and what this does is it denies attackers from being in a line of sight on this laundry hallway window into the guy playing on that piano wall. We're also going to make footholes next to here, that way you can watch people trying to sneak up through the laundry hallway. Next, we're going to use another reinforcement to reinforce half the wall in showers, so you can watch into games doing that same sort of aggressive peek. And to protect this position, we're going to use a reinforcement on the middle panel of the wall between games and piano. And this denies attackers from getting a line of sight directly from this little outside area through the games wall and onto the bathroom player. Now we're going to use 4 walls to protect the sort of core of the site, right? We're going to use 2 walls here into games from the outside area, and we're going to use 2 walls into games from bull. And that's our reinforcements. Now for the rotates, I've already explained this line of sight, that line of sight, and those footholes, but we're also going to want a line of sight on this wall, the wall closest to the games wall from outside. And what this allows you to do is when we have our Maestro, and we'll get to that in a minute, it allows him to place a cam there and control not only all of piano, but also get a line of sight into the game's walk-in. And optionally, you can have a line of sight here, and what that will allow you to do is from this half-wall reinforcement, you can play the piano walk-in as well from the showers area. Now it's time to look at the lineup. So for this strategy, I've opted for a double hard breach denial setup, because I think you really need to protect the external walls, otherwise there's a lot of ways for attackers to push you. And that's generally true just of this site. There's a lot of external entrances and windows, and there's a lot you have to protect. So going with 2 hard breach deniers makes it a little bit easier on the defenders. That being said, I've chosen to run a Cade, a Mute, a Jager, a Maestro, and this last op is sort of a flex up to you type pick. I don't think there's one best solution. I think there are a couple different approaches, and I'll go over each of them. So let's start by looking at Cade. Cade is going to play in laundry, and he's going to use his 2 Cade claws, with one being on the bunk's external wall and one being on the outside table external wall. He's going to play in laundry because his 1.5 allows him to control piano and games decently well and provides a little bit of flexibility for supporting other teammates as well as just locking down this area of the site. Laundry is sort of the core of this strategy, so you really want to make sure laundry stays well controlled and you can use it to control and apply pressure to the other areas of the site. Additionally, the nitro means that if they try for a rush plant, he should pretty easily be able to throw a nitro there and deny the plant. As for Mute, Mute is going to split his jammers between hard breach denial and intel denial, and he's going to play in this long hall area. He's sort of a floater. He's going to float around site and help whoever needs it. There's going to be 1 jammer on the wall to bull from games, 1 jammer on the half reinforcement from laundry into piano, and then the other 2 jammers are going to go 1 at the top of the yellow stairs and the other one on the outside door into piano. He's going to play in Laundry Hall because I think the combination of the shotgun and SMG-11 means that he can basically human claymore the window hop in and someone walking up the yellow stairs with the barbed wire as a sound cue. And of course the SMG-11 means he can support people in games if they're pushing in games, and rotate to the bunks door and support the bunks player as well. Jager is going to be playing in bunk because I think he has really good fragging potential with the 416. It seems like the perfect range for that gun. He's going to use 2 ADSs on the door to the table outside to help protect nades flying into Laundry Hall, into Laundry, and to games, and of course to protect the Evil Eye. And we're going to give 1 ADS on the wall of the Bull Games wall. Of course you could rotate if you wanted 2 ADSs here. I think either's fine, but I expect a lot more nades to come from this outside area since it's a little more accessible to the attackers as opposed to Bull. So that's just my preference. And his barbed wire is going to go on Laundry stairs to provide intel for mute, and right inside or outside the Bull to games walk-in, just to make sure that players can't sneak in there and surprise the other defenders. Maestro is going to play in showers, and he's going to place 1 Evil Eye in this little corner of piano. And remember, this allows him to watch not only piano, but through a line of sight into games to watch the games walk in, and you can also watch down Laundry Hall. So that's a pretty powerful cam. The other cam is going to go on the inside of the bunk's door. This allows him to watch the bunk's window and the bunk's wall, and also a little bit of laundry. But it's primarily assuming they're going to get one of these areas of pressure to help Jager provide a little bit of intel. He's going to play in showers because the showers provides a lot of protection for him. It's decently safe besides the showers window, and he can also hop off cams and play this half wall into both piano and games. So as I mentioned before, the final op is a little bit of a flex and free pick, and I think there are 3 ways you can go about filling in this gap. The first is to try to do a roam presence if you think the attackers are going to do an extended map clear. The second is to try to do a little bit more of a site anchor / support player, like a TB or a Doc, if you think that they're going to just hit site hard and you're confident in your ability to take gunfights. And the third option is to use like a Smoke or a Tachanka or a Goyo to provide yourself a little more deployable shields if you feel like you need or want that to help you take gunfights and control the map. So looking into the first option, I'm generally not in favor of an unsupported roam. That being said, what you could do is, if you have players that are safe, essentially feed Vigil intel and allow him to just run around, shoot drones, maybe pre-fire some barricades a little bit, and scare the attackers. That way they don't think they can just take free map control for free. Now that being said, typically when you do a roam, you'd like to be able to fall back. However, with this site and specifically, there aren't a lot of protected routes for you to do that, right? Pretty much the only one directly to site is to come through this game's door from Bull, and that exposes you not only to the game's window, but also if they're in Bull, if they're in this outside table area and they've breached the wall, or even if they've already taken piano and they're watching through this line of sight we created. It's just not super safe to do this. The other option is to come up yellow stairs into the Laundry Hall. I think that's the safer option, and so that's why I think if you're going to do a roam, you want someone with impacts. That way they can blow the Bull hatch and potentially other hatches, and just know that if you fall back, you're actually going to be doing sort of a reverse thing where you push out. That way you can fall back to the first floor and then come back up the laundry stairs. If you're going to do this, I would advise, again, making it a supported roam versus an unsupported roam. And I think in this strategy, what you can essentially do is just take the mute with the Vigil and have them both go, and that removes the need for impacts and also supports the roam presence. And I think why you can take mute away is he's not playing an essential position in this Laundry Hall. Obviously, you don't want people to be able to just walk up the stairs or hop in, but there are players and lines of sight that would allow you to control those areas without the mute. So he isn't absolutely essential. I still think he's beneficial, but this is just if you want to go the roam route. The second option is to do a hard support and anchor player. This would be like the TB, your Rook, your Doc. Basically the ops that are specifically designed to help the rest of the defenders take a little bit more damage without dying. I think this setup works if you're able to take aggressive gunfights and shoot the attackers. So the TB is pretty nice. I think I would probably choose TB if my team were going to do this type of setup, because it's a little less dependent on the player remaining alive, right? You can just set up your Kona stations and go. And I think how you want to do this is actually have the TB play below with a nitro, and then just feed cams feed intel from cameras onto the players, because if you notice, a lot of the second floor is destructible. So it's less unsupported than, say, the first option where you're just roaming out garage side. You're just sort of playing, in this instance, below piano, below games, below bunk perhaps. But it still gives you some utility, and it gives you a viable way to counter walk-ins and counter plants. And of course, the final option is to play someone with a deployable shield like a Smoke, a Tachanka, or a Goyo. I think either Smoke or Tachanka are your best bets, because even though they have less shields, they have a little bit more plant denial utility, and this immediate access right into sight from the outside means that I imagine there's going to be quite a lot of strategies that are developed to rush plant this site. So you're going to want a lot of plant denial, and using the Smoke in combination with the Maestro really accentuates that feature of the. So yeah, that's the strat for Laundry Piano. Again, this defense strat was made without practical gameplay experience because the season only just came out today, but I think it works in practice. It's built on solid principles, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. So let me know in the comments.